We're back with more Uncut Long War 2. Today, we're getting introduced to 5 new soldiers, and they were all provided by Ender. Samuel Deckman was born in Texas. His father was a police officer, and his mother, originally from Russia, was the owner of a shooting range. Because of his parents' professions, he spent most of his early life surrounded by guns, learning how they work by helping to clean and maintain his father's, and learning the intricacies of weapon attachments from dealing with customers with his mother. It wasn't a typical child's life, but it was a happy and healthy one. Unfortunately, Samuel and his family were struck with tragedy when his father died during a police investigation. Both he and his mother were heavily affected by this and decided to distance themselves from it by moving to New York. In this new environment, guns weren't as prevalent, but Samuel was still able to grow his enthusiasm for weapons when he met Alan Stanley in his New York school. Alan was born in Ottawa, Canada. His father was a struggling lumberjack and his mother a computer programmer, but it was very clear that Alan took more after his mother. At just 7 years old, he hacked his first website. At age 10, he created a botnet that could spam more than 1 email per second. And at age 14, he committed a series of identity thefts and credit card frauds, and they all went undetected. Just like with Samuel's story, hard times made the family want to change locations. They left Canada and moved to New York. Their lives became more stable and they were happier than ever, until Alan's parents were killed in a car accident. At age 18, with no way of supporting himself and very few familial ties in New York or Canada, he started using his hacking skills to keep himself alive, siphoning money from people's bank accounts, manipulating shipping routes for things he needed, etc. While not the paragon of excellence, Alan's intents weren't malicious, and without moral guidance from his parents, he didn't think there was any other way. Eventually, Alan's hacking talents were noticed by a digital crimes organization called Invade. They recruited him, he quickly became renowned within their organization, and he was given the nickname Hades because of the way he manipulates digital entities like souls in the underworld. Fast forward a few years and you'll find Samuel Deckman as an FBI agent with the nickname Beowulf looking to shut down Invade, the same organization his childhood friend was now a member of. Long story short, the FBI shut down Invade and arrested everyone except for Alan. During the raid of their safe house, Samuel pulled him aside and said, "Welcome to the team." He was referring to a special operations unit he was tasked with building. The unit would eventually grow to 5 members, each with a unique set of skills. Jack Nightstar Walter was a quiet man with an intense focus. Born in Wells, England, he moved to the United States in his 20s to find better opportunities. He joined a SWAT team and was renowned as one of the best marksmen in the country. He was a prime candidate for Samuel's task force. Kaden Hishimata was born to a poor family in northern Japan. His father was a low-tier drug dealer for the White Dust stock, and Kaden followed in his footsteps. He also traveled beyond them and became a powerful member in the organization. Renowned for his quick wit and his skills with bladed weapons, Kaden led the group's expansion to the United States, but was eventually shut down by Samuel and recruited to the force. The alternative was jail time. Finally, Albert Furtwängler was a German police officer with a tragic past. His father was killed in a house fire caused by a group of local criminals he got in a confrontation with. Albert was permanently scarred by the fire both physically and mentally. Once a tame child, he's now nicknamed Eisendrache, or Steel Dragon, because of his destructive and aggressive nature. Despite this, he still manages to find success because of the volatile nature of the operations he goes on. While he doesn't have the finesse of the other members, he's strong and makes a great heavy weapons expert. Ladies and gentlemen, but mostly gentlemen, it is time for us to destroy yet another Advent facility. I think you guys know what the deal is by now, so let's see what our squad composition looks like today. Alright, first thing you're going to notice is that we have 7 soldiers coming on this mission. Last time I had a small bug with this, but I believe I fixed it. So, first up, we've got the Blue Bot. He is our Spark unit, and I'm speccing this guy to be a walking tank. He has 5 points of armor. He's also using a rocket launcher because we haven't researched any new heavy weapons. There are a ton of cool heavy weapons to use, but they just take a lot of time, and I've been researching other things. But the ability that he has is called Bulwark, and that allows us to use him as a piece of high cover. So if we need to, we can hide behind this guy and be safe, and that's pretty damn cool. So next up, we have our trooper, Janet Badgirl Brooks. She's using the blue screen rounds and the blue screen grenade, which means mechanical enemies will get absolutely wasted by her. Next up, our shinobi is Tessa Victoria. She's got the venom rounds and the battle scanner. And she's using the hunter's axes on her back, so she has the throw axe ability. Now we have Kyra Ronan. She is our resident alien. She's using the bolt caster and exosuit, so she has a rocket launcher and tracer rounds. Next up, our 2 specialists, Luka Kagawa. We haven't seen her on a mission for a very long time, but we got introduced to her a while back at this point. But she is our combat hacker. She has the mimic beacon and the skulljack. And then Green Jelly O'Brien, you guys know by now, she's the medic, so she's got the med kits and the mind shield. And finally, the only male on this mission is Frederick Blackjack Carter, following up the back line. We've got him with the Talon rounds for increased critical hit chance and damage, as well as the Mangler chest piece. But, you know, this thing hasn't sucked a soul for a while, and we gave him his own special shotgun. It's called 21 because he's Blackjack Carter, so he's got some extra crit chance and increased magazine size and some free reloads. So on that note, let's hope this doesn't bug out, because I really want to do this mission with 7 soldiers. Let's go. Okay, it's working. It's working. We have 7 soldiers on the mission, and this is exciting. Now, the thing about having 7 soldiers on a mission is you can't get lulled into a false sense of security. We are going to have additional firepower and a whole lot of extra mitigation because of the blue bot. I mean, look at that. But we still have to be careful about how we maneuver. We can't make dumb decisions, because if we do, we'll get severely punished for it. So, you know, and look at that. We could have just screwed the whole pooch right there. We've got eyes on the first pod. We saw there was a codex in there, but nobody has proper line of sight on it from our current positions, so we can't see what the codex's sight radius is. I know it's not a female because it's like a digital file come to life, but it's got titties, so it's a woman. I mean, look at it. Look at it. The codex has titties, right? Ah, whatever. Who cares? But I guess that kind of segues into what I felt like talking about today, which is the fact that so much of the stuff that I say is completely and utterly absurd. Because I've been watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt again. That show is in its what season is it? The 3rd season, and it's one of the most absurd things that you can watch on television nowadays. Got one more target to move. Green Jelly's just gonna hang out in the back as the medic. She doesn't really have to engage targets too often. But yeah, it's one of the craziest shows on television nowadays. Everything about it is completely bonkers. It breaks all the rules. It creates its own reality that makes no fucking sense. And if you cannot suspend your disbelief well, and if you can't appreciate the absolute ridiculousness of the show, then you're gonna hate it. But if you can just sort of forget about reality for a little bit, then it becomes one of the most entertaining comedies on television right now. And you know, it's weird because I think absurdity is it's a tricky thing to get behind, right? Because I watch the show and I like it a lot, and we're gonna be very patient because we don't have a turn timer. It would be nice to start off the ambush right now with a rocket. I mean, look at that. We'd get 4 birds with 1 rocket, and that would be great. But at the same time, my positioning is not that great, so I'm not exactly ready to start. So I want to make sure I'm totally ready for the light to go green before kicking things off. So we're gonna wait 1 more turn before actually engaging.
Position confirmed.
Now the spark unit is a tricky one to maneuver because it can't actually make use of cover. So if I move it too close, it's gonna reveal itself, or it's gonna get revealed before I'm ready. So I have to be careful about that one. So I guess we'll just keep it like right here, and we'll just overwatch all.
I'm on it.
Right, but yeah, you've got to be really in the mood to just suspend your disbelief for 30 minutes at a time if you're gonna enjoy that show. And to a degree, I feel like the same is true for my uncut episodes sometimes, because I talk about like just things that are either sometimes offensive or completely ridiculous, like the pigeon conversation. I was talking about birds and birds like having sex and shit. Like it was weird. It was completely ridiculous. And if you just weren't mentally prepared for things to get stupid, then you would be like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy? He's talking about pigeons and anthropomorphizing them. It's weird. I don't like it." Right? But if you're ready for it, then it's kind of funny. And the same applies to that show. And we're not going to get a great ambush, but we're going to start things off. So let's just put some people on Overwatch. Kyra Ronan does not have vision because of the angle. She can't see through the trees, so we're going to leave her off Overwatch. Frederick Blackjack Carter is using a shotgun, so he doesn't have good aim or good chances to hit from this distance. So I'm going to leave him off. I think I'm just going to do 1 person on Overwatch, or maybe 2. I think Luka Kagawa would get a pretty decent Overwatch, so I'll put her on. She's got some Overwatch abilities. She's got covering fire, as you can see, and cool under pressure. Both are Overwatch-centric abilities that are going to make her a bit stronger. So I suppose, why not start things off with our big bad robot? Let's see what he can do. He's got a 77% chance to hit. Not great, but he's got a 50% chance to crit. So that's pretty beefy. Let's do it. Missed. That would have been nice, but, you know, that's Xcom, baby. So let's see. Kyra Ronan's Overwatch would have still been effective because of the way that they're moving. That captain would have gotten tagged by the Boltcaster most likely, but it's okay. He's moved into a position where we can do some big damage to him regardless. So all in all, it's worked out. And, you know, I really forget sometimes how beautiful Xcom is. This is just one of the most amazing looking strategy games out there, man. It really is. And I don't even have everything cranked up to max. I've got a lot of stuff turned off because my CPU is 5 years old. Anyway, let's shoot this guy in the face. Beautiful. And to deal with the heavy lancer, we've got a lot of options here, but I am most likely going to use Frederick Blackjack Carter. I don't really want to blow a run and gun so early, but it's kind of a safe move to just put Blackjack Carter in this forward position. Or maybe I'm secretly screwing myself over by activating this pod early. I'm not sure how I feel about this decision now. I may have benefited from a little bit of patience there, but you know, only time will tell. Let's see. But yeah, the level of absurdity, the level of ridiculousness in certain things, and like you just have to be willing to take that moment to say, all right, this is going to be a stupid 20 minutes, or it's going to be a silly 20 minutes, or whatever. And I'm going to roll the dice here and use Rapid Fire on the Advent Shield Bearer. This is a new ability for Blackjack Carter. He takes 2 shots with his shotgun with a reduced chance to hit, but we see the potential. If both of those hits connected and crit, he would have done 18 damage there. And that is amazing. And to finish things off, we are in a ridiculously good place. And we don't really have to do anything. But I suppose I could bring Green Jelly O'Brien forward a bit, but we don't necessarily... everything is just okay right now. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just give aid protocol to the blue bot, and then I'll end the turn. Right? Alright, so let's see what other enemies are on the map. We've got a Mutant Elite, a Codex, and something else. I missed that one. An Archon, and 3 more Codex. This is a little bit out of control. There's going to be a lot of enemies on the field if we can't eliminate them quickly because we don't have any flashbangs with us. And the next pod is a Goon Squad, so an Officer and a Gunner. It's red and green. It's Christmas time. It's a shame we didn't bring Santa Claus. He would have been happy to see that combination of colors. And one more thing, a super heavy turret. We may try to hack that and take it over, or we may just shut it down. Here we go. Blackjack Carter's close combat specialist gonna proc, deal a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill the Lancer. Our specialist, she is going to get a hit, but it will be dodged. And unfortunately, the Bug Zapper coming out for 10 damage. What the fuck? And of course, the purple stuff. So that was pretty rough. That was pretty rough. But we've got the best medic on planet Earth here to deal with this situation. Green Jelly O'Brien has this new ability called... I don't remember what it's called, but it increases the amount of health that she can heal with her gremlins. So, Janet Bad Girl Brooks, it looks like she's hurting, but she's perfectly fine. I mean, look at this, look at this, look at this. Mega healing. She's basically back to maximum health, and it feels really good. So yeah, it's you know. And for anybody that doesn't watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, the premise of the show, I'm not gonna spoil anything if you want to watch it on Netflix or something, but the premise of the show is that there was this girl that was abducted by a reverend that was making some sort of occult religion that isn't elaborated on that much, and he kidnapped her and a couple of other girls and made them live in a bunker for several years, and they basically became indoctrinated while they were in the bunker, and they didn't learn the normal interpersonal skills of humans. So when she gets out of the bunker, she's basically a strange childish creature that doesn't know how to interact in society. Now, before I continue giving the rundown of what that show is about, let's move our shinobi further up the line and get our guys out of the purple stuff and see how we're gonna deal with this. It's a bit tricky at the moment. But you know what? I'm going to try and get lucky. Normally, I would be able to mark target and then fire my primary weapon, but because I got stunned for one action point, I can't do that. But I'm going to try and get these blue screen rounds to instant kill this Codex. Not going to do it. It's going to dodge, but it still took 7 damage, which is beefy as hell. So, not the worst that could have happened, but that positioning on the Codex is pretty awful, and that is precisely why the Codex is a miserable enemy to fight. It's that, the fact that it can just go behind you. And the fun fact, the Codex is not counted as a mechanical enemy from combat protocol, but it does take bonus damage from blue screen rounds, in case anybody's ever been curious about that. So, what do we do here? What do we do here? So yeah, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. So she's living in this world where she doesn't understand anything, and everything is weird and quirky. Like she goes to the store and she doesn't know what an iPod is, so that's weird and quirky and fun, and just, you know, shit like that. It's a good show, but
Seems doable.
yeah, you know, it's fucking weird, man. It's fucking weird. So we're moving Blackjack Carter out of the purple stuff, and then we're gonna fire a rocket. No, we are not going to fire a rocket because the boulder that we are hiding behind is blocking our line of sight. My goodness, I hate line of sight sometimes. But on the bright side, we can take a shotgun. and put it in the mouth of the Codex and eliminate it.
Impressed yet?
But once you get past all the quirky stuff about the show, then it starts to become a sort of... It starts to become some sort of an allegory about being broke in New York City, which is... I never like shows like that because because I am broke living in New York City, and it's not that fun. But shows always make it seem like it's the most fun thing in the world to be broken in New York City and to have a quirky best friend that's always up to some crazy hijinks. But it's not cool to be broke. Let me tell you something. The other day I had to go somewhere, so I had to get dressed up. I had to get a little fancy. Oh shit, there's 2 mutant elites over there. Damn. All right. Anyway, I had to go somewhere, so I had to get a little dressed up, right? So I put on some nice pants. I put on a shirt that was 1 size too small. I normally wear medium. This shirt wasn't a small, but it fit like it was somewhere in between a small and a medium. So it was a schmedium, is what I'm trying to get at. But I was feeling good. I looked in the mirror before I left, and I said, "Boy, you looking good as fuck," and that was great. And then as soon as I walk outside, I realized, as good as I'm feeling about myself in this moment, the reality started to set in. And what reality am I talking about? Number one, I don't have a car, so I had to take the bus. Feeling good about myself, I get on the bus, instantly feel horrible. You know, and it just spiraled downwards from there. Oh my goodness, there's no full cover on the map, so I'll just move Kyra Ronan over here to half cover, and she should be okay. Alright, purple stuff detonated, nothing bad happened. Okay. Let's see how this plays out. You know, and that's just the thing about being broke in New York City that gets sort of glamorized in movies and television show, where it's always kind of charming to see somebody riding on the bus or the train, but it's very heartbreaking to actually have to ride the bus and or the train. And here we go. This is why half cover is no cover. The mutant elite doing a raw 11 damage. Got a maximum roll on that. So we've really got to do something about these things, or else we're all going to die a very painful death. But the crazy thing is, I'm pretty sure there's nothing we can do to eliminate them in a single turn because of their personal shields and their ridiculous amount of armor. But let's see if we can make something happen. I don't know. Shit. Oh, right. I have... Okay. Maybe we're not totally in the shitter yet. I'm going to activate a special ability on the Spark unit called Overdrive. This is one of his base abilities, and it allows him to use 3 action points in a single turn. So Spark unit is about to get onto the battlefield and start doing super cool robot stuff. Now, to ensure that I do this right, I'm going to move him up in small steps. So the first action point, boop, boop, boop. There he goes. Overdrive. Second action point, he's coming right over here. Boop, 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 boop. And now he is in position to fire the rocket launcher. Just had to be as safe as possible about that. And the radius on this thing is stupid, but I like it. Now, the problem, though, is that we're not going to actually take off any of their armor by firing the rocket. So why don't we try and get rid of their shields first, and then we'll fire the rocket. So we'll start off with a throw axe. Boom. The shield is removed, and we've revealed ourselves. We'll take a slash at the Codex. It is going to split, but that's no big deal. The pieces that it turns into are not going to have too much health. Boom. The Codex has split, and it went to a decent position. Nothing too stressful to worry about. And we'll finish off the other piece of it, just like that. Oh. Am I doing a good job of conveying the fact that I'm... Of like hiding the fact that I'm super stressed out right now? Because I hope I am. Because I'm super stressed out right now. Blackjack Carter is flanked by the one of that Codex piece over there, but he was flanked before, so nothing ventured, nothing gained, I guess. Alright, yeah, we can't get the armor off of both of them, so let's just... Oh, there it goes. If you're not clenching right now, then you're not feeling the drama that I'm feeling. This is a tense situation in which any wrong move will mean somebody's gonna die. So the rocket's gonna come out. It did a lot of environmental damage, but it did not destroy this little tiny boulder that this giant mutant is hiding behind. And I think we need to take a moment to appreciate how ridiculous it is. You know, there's a certain thing where an enemy of a certain size should not be able to hide behind a certain size object. Look at this. There it goes. Do you see that little boulder that's on the floor right now? The mutant is using that as cover. No, it's fucking not. Okay? The mutant is not hiding behind anything. That's like if you see a carpet on the floor and you're like, shit, I need to hide. And you just stand next to the carpet, crouch down. Like, it's not doing anything. But anyway, I digress from my point. I'm just frustrated at the reality that I have to live in. Unfortunately, even without cover, tactical sense and the innate defense from the mutant elite is a bitch to deal with. So that's unfortunate. Shit, man, this is... I really don't know what the best thing to do is for this situation. Maybe because there is no best thing in this kind of situation. I guess, you know, hitting, you know, double damage with the rocket is as close as we're going to get to being optimal in this situation. Holy crap. And we could send out, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use a new ability that we haven't seen called capacitor discharge. This is the ultimate ability for the combat specialist, or the combat hacker tree. It sends out the gremlin and it does a big burst of area of effect damage to the nearby enemies, and it has a chance to stun and disorient the targets, I believe. Yeah, damaging and potentially stunning all nearby enemies. So I don't know exactly what the stun chance is on it, but I think it'll be pretty good. And I moved her up just in the hopes that I could get the Archon in the bubble as well, but unfortunately I cannot. So I have just screwed her over a little bit by putting her into some half cover. So the zap is gonna come out. It's a big burst of damage, and we disoriented both of them, which is not bad. We've gotten their accuracy down a considerable amount, which is kind of the best thing we can hope for. And now to wrap things up, we'll just do some gremlin heals. And then Bad Girl Brooks does have an action, but there aren't too many. There aren't any spaces she can go to get a vantage point besides right here. So that's where she's gonna go, and then we wrap it up with another rocket. There it is. That's finesse for you right there. Boom. Goes the dynamite.